Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session of discussion with CAT toppers. And today with us, we have Shashank, Minkesh, Tanmay, and Kishan. And they have converted NITI and they'll be joining NITI this year. So, guys, congratulations. Welcome to the show and congratulations on converting one of the best B schools in this country. So, how are you guys feeling?
So just a little updates. This year I'm joining FMS. I converted FMS also.
Oh, nice,
So
nice, nice.
for FMS.
Shashank converts NITI and FMS and he'll be joining FMS. So, how are you guys feeling? I mean, 1 year's hard work coming to fruition.
Yes.
For me, it's like really pleasing, I would say. I initially had the convert of IIM Shillong, but when I saw that I've already converted NITI, so I think, it's one of the best feelings that, your preparations are materialized. Now you are getting the rewards for what you, paid for, I guess.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's one of the best experiences I had.
And I did BTech in mechanical engineering, and I had manufacturing experience as well. I worked in shop floor, so basically it was a no-brainer choice for me to pursue operation management. So the NITI is being the best in the country in supply chain. So it was like natural choice for me to join the NITI, and basically I started preparation in considering the NITI as my last destination. So I prepared for that, and right now I'm in the NITI.
That's
What's me? I
Tanmay, go on.
So I converted. I am Indore and NITI as well. So I had a dilemma about joining whether to go for I am Indore or NITI. So I inquired. We have a person from I am Indore here who is amongst us. He has muted. So yeah. So that's when I had a chat with him, and he gave me a good piece of advice, and that's when I thought of joining NITI. Other than that, I am Lucknow Wall, but it's in wait list. Let's hope it converts. But until then, I'm going to join NITI.
So that's nice. So I'd like to go with both of you, Shashank and Tanmay. So you both have calls and from IIMs. So people value the brand value of IIM over and above everything else. So why choose NITI over those colleges?
So actually, I have calls from every IIM except IIM Ahmedabad and converted every IIM except B, C, and L. I got directly straight away reject from B and waitlisted in C and L. If I compare the K, I, and NITI, initially I was in dilemma that I have to go for NITI or K and I, but I had a detailed discussion with one of my friends in NITI Mumbai. I am Indore, I am Kozhikode. So they gave me a better piece of advice. Then what I have comparison like student best size, the geographical locations, how it will affect our summer placement and COVID situation, and this all other factors, and decided to go for the NITI initially. Then after that, my FMS waitlist had been cleared. Then this ROI factor, and nearby my house, my parents want to be in Delhi also. So I choose to be in FMS. That's how I decided to be in FMS.
So Minkesh had IIM Shillong, right? And
Yes.
Tanmay, you had IIM Indore. So again, same question, like why did you two choose NITI over these colleges?
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with you that, this IIM brand is of some value, specifically to the layman people, right? And when you're saying that you are choosing a known IIM over an IIM, it's definitely, a difficult exercise to make them convince, right? But for me, I think it's about the specialization, and the NITI is definitely the no-brainer choice for me because, in operations and product management, something which I'm really inclined towards. So that's the reason why I'm preferring NITI over IIM Shillong. No doubt IIM Shillong is one of the best brands, but yeah, the basis my inclination, I think NITI is the best choice for me. So yeah, that's the reason.
Very well said. And like Kishan said that he was a mechanical engineer and always on the shop floor. So I think he wants to take that forward. Am I right, Kishan? So
Yes.
NITI is the no-brainer choice for you as well.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. So Tanmay, do you want to add something to it?
Yeah, actually, when I even told my mother, so she even didn't know what is NITI. So she asked me, "अरे ये कौन सा college join कर रहे हो?" Even when I tell it to some of my relatives, I had to first tell them that I rejected IIM Indore and I took NITI. So, but what I feel is when it comes to industry, it is more important that the industrialist or the people who are there in the hierarchy know what the brand is rather than the general people. And NITI is a kind of brand in supply chain. It has established its legacy since 1963. And that's what I feel that the people who are in the industry should know rather than the people outside. And the quality of education also matters. So what the reason for rejecting IIM Indore is totally different. It's not that it's a IIM tag or something, or that NITI is not an IIM tag. The rejection is on totally different parameters. I have weighted NITI and IIM Indore in two different buckets, and I have seen that what I can get in NITI, which I won't be able to get in IIM Indore, and that's why I am going to choose NITI over IIM Indore.
Absolutely. So that's very important to know what you want, and then making sure that you get what you want, and the college which helps you to get that becomes the choice. So having discussed that, I would like to know, like, what are your suggestions or tips and tricks to the incoming batches, the people who will be attempting CAT in 2021? So what should be their strategy around CAT? How should they attempt the different sections? How should they prepare the different sections?
So the first of all, starting with the VARC. So basically, uh, people yet to know about the pattern this time, whether it is a 2 hour exam or 3 hour exam. But that should not be bothered to anyone. Like they have to plan and strategize accordingly. So starting with the VRC, it is very important to read daily articles, specifically editorials, and solve daily minimum 2-3 arches in initial days. Then later on they can increase their frequency. Then the also many people start mugging word lists, but I believe it is not very important. If you are targeting non-CAT exams such as NMET or IFT and JET, then you can start with the word power easy. Then about DLR, I would suggest to solve the past year mocks for that, where they have very good collection of LRDS sets, which will give you enough variety of different kinds of sets, which will give you hands-on experience. Then about quant, it is you should be knowing each and every formula by heart till when you are going for the CAT, and the practice makes you perfect in that sense.
So
So
very
adding
well
a
said.
layer to what
Yeah, please go on.
So Kishan has very well summed it up, but adding a layer to what Kishan was mentioning, I think one of the key factors here to consider in case of NITI is that sectional cutoff for this particular institute is really high, even higher than MDI, I will say, right? So overall is it stands around 97, and sectionals are around 90, close to 90. Right. So one of the advice I can give to the people who are targeting NITI is that you'll have to keep your sectionals very balanced. Right. You cannot put one section at stake at the cost of something else. So if you think that you can cover it up in quant section or VRC, it won't work that way. So definitely, if your plan is to join NITI, specifically this supply chain management or operations is something that you're planning for, then your section is something you need to be very diligent about.
Yeah, so both of you bring forth a very good point. So people leave VRC, so engineers especially, they think my VRC is weak. So even if I get a little low score in that section, I'll make it up in QA and LRDI. So again, take care of all these three sections and understand that what is weak for you, and then start working on that. So if any of you want to take this up, like how to identify what is your weak section and then how to go about it.
Well, I would take it. I mean, I would like to share my experience here. Actually, when I gave CAT for the first time, it was in 2019. Sorry, it was in 2018. In fact, I just passed out from the college and I just joined a renowned coaching institute. And I started preparing. So that time I realized that I was bad in all the three sections. It was not that I was particularly good in this one or particularly good, worst in that one. I was equally worst in all the three. So even quants was a bit good. I mean, rather say average level or below average level, you can say. But from there, I continued to improve, and I had gaps in between. Gaps in the sense not academically or while working, but gaps in terms of CAT preparation. So I had a lot of gaps. I mean, I used to study till October, and then in October I used to get demotivated, and I used to stop studying. So that was the thing that happened with me a lot. So it is very important that you keep yourself motivated and you do the preparation consistently. Ultimately, in CAT 2020, I kept the consistency. Uh, but due to my job activities, I wasn't able to give 100%. But still, I prepared a lot on CAT preparation prep zone, be it terms of VRC, DILR. I used to solve everything that I used to get free of cost. Basically, I took some paid sessions as well for one or two quant session. It was, I think, trigonometry or I don't know, geometry or something. So basically, I prepared for that. Basically, whichever sections were weak, I took some personalized coaching for that. In the month of even October 2020, my verbal scores were not shooting up. So I took help of one of my friend who is from FMS itself. So he taught me some tips and tricks in VRC, that what things to focus and what not to focus. Based on that, I kept that approach and I utilized it in my VRC section, and I was able to clear the cutoffs for all the three sections decently. Ultimately, CAT was a sham for me. I got pressurized in DILR section, but I kept my mind calm and I solved whatever was possible, whatever I could possible. And ultimately, I did not end up scoring a 99 percentile like many of you must have scored. I managed to score just a 94.2 percentile. But I then focused on my interviews, which was, I think, a critical section when it comes to uh, selection into any particular B school. And that's what I focused on. Chalo, abhi to CAT ho gaya. I cannot do anything about it. The scores are the ultimate, and I have to go with that only. So what I focused is on interviews and how I could maximize my potential and attract the interview panel. So that was my focus. And here is where CAT preparation prep zone, GDPI prep zone group helped me a lot.
Right, Tanmay. So yeah, you said very important thing, like motivation is really important, and you need to make sure that you don't lose the focus, and not just for CAT but for GDPI as well. So it's very important to maximize each and every step and make sure that you have the best possible score that you can get. So even if there's a setback in one of these exams or one of these parts, the other two can make up for it. So that is very, very important. And so Tanmay, thank you for that. Anyone else who wants to share his strategy, his tips and tricks?
I'd like to add some points, mostly related to the mock. So what my strategy is to, like, some of the students have problem to sit continuously with for 3 hours and having concentration. So that problem I have also. So what I have a strategy is to go for the 4 hours of mock test, mean 3 hours of full test, 1 hour of sectional test, and test helped me a lot during the D-Day with having a 2 hours of exam, and I have a fully concentration in all 3 sections, and having a good score in all 3 sections. So I think this is the most important part for the mock test for any student.
So Shashank, how did you go about the mocks? I mean, don't you think it would become too much like taking a sectional and then a mock?
No, sir. Actually, starting में क्या था कि I was pretty much confident about my VRC, no, sorry, VRC, the quant and LRDS section. So I have a continuous practice for them, and I'm average or below average in VARC. So I have a practice and follow tricks from YouTube videos and from coachings. So and I have a continuous practice on that. So initially, what I do कि पहले मैं सारे sections देता था for 1 month and 2 months. So I have a good grip on all the 3 sections. Then I go for the 3 hours mock test.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
Habit of 3 hours mock test. Then I go to the 4 hours mock test. So
All
that's
right.
how I
Okay.
have it.
So to say you gradually increased your stamina.
Yes.
At first you
Yes,
gave
yes.
only the sectionals and then the mocks and then the bigger mocks. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very good strategy. If people want to try that out, you should definitely see. And let me put this, that these people here are telling their experiences very personal to them. So you might pick out points and work on those points, but it's not a one strategy fits all. So you need to understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So like Tanmay said, his strategy was completely different from what Shashank said. So understand these points and take the ones which will work for you and keep on working on that. So to test that out. So that's very important. So anybody who wants to talk about how they improved the sectional, I mean, if they were weak in one section, so how did they improve that part?
Yeah, so I can take that up.
Sure.
I think quality of the preparation is the most important part, right? Many of the people are chasing the shortcuts, and there are some of the shortcuts available online, and they are just picking that up and fitting them onto the questions available. I don't think that's the right way. So if your concepts are really strong, I don't think that you'll be falling short to anywhere. Specifically in terms of CAT, I think they are throwing questions which are more application based nowadays. So
True,
I think it's the most important part that you focus on the concepts. And yeah, that's I think is the most critical part of the CAT. Secondly, I think there's a wonderful point that you brought up, that approach matters, right? Approach is different to every person. And here what people end up making mistake is that they pick up someone else's strategy and fit on their own. I think approach and your strategy depends on your strengths and weaknesses only, right? And you'll have to ensure that you know your strengths and weaknesses first of all. So when you take mocks, you'll figure them out, and after that you need to figure out what strategy will work for you, right? So I think these are the ways one can definitely look in.
Absolutely, Mikesh. So it's really important. So many people take this part as well, this strategy, that they start with mocks instead of preparing for the sectionals, and 1 or 2 mocks later, or maybe 3, 4 mocks later, they understand what is working for them, which section is their strength and which section is their weakness, and then they focus on the sectional parts. So if you want, you can go with that also, but it's very important that you identify your weak section early on, is what I would like to add over here. That once you have that, so that's like a SWOT analysis. So you work on your strengths, keep your strengths intact, but improve upon your weaknesses as well. So the earlier you start, the more time you have for that. So that's a very important point, Mukesh. So guys, if anything else, so you talked about sectionals, you talked about mocks, then is there anything else, or is there anything you want people to know, that okay, this is what CAT is about and how to go about the mocks, and what about the D-Day as well?
Yeah. So on D-Day, what happens that, so basically people prepare for the paper, right? But they don't prepare for the real scenario. Right now they're taking mocks from their homes, but in real environment it is totally different. And because of that, many people failed in the past as well. So it is very important that you attempt your paper with a peace mind. So basically, in case if you are not able to solve first 2-3 questions, then it is not an issue. You have to find there will be definitely there will be some easy question which you can solve within the 1 minute in quant as well. Okay. So you need to pick up those easy question and move on. And what I did was just before my CAT, I had very bad mock. So basically, what I did, what I can say, I just mimic the exact scenario. If in ICAS I got panic in the real D-Day, what will happen? So I prepared for that as well. So you before and you know that if this thing will happen, what will you do? So it is very important that you develop that habit for if it in case you prepare yourself for the worst situation as well on the day.
So yeah, that's important. So people, what happens in CAT exam, and we've heard that from other people as well, other people who have converted this year, that this year CAT was slightly on the difficult side, and that caused a panic. So those who could maintain their calm and composure during that time were actually the people who did well. So we've seen that trend. So that's really important to understand that if the paper is difficult, it's not just difficult for you, it's difficult for everyone. So the one who will maintain his calmness, who will keep his mind straight and understand that there will be questions which you will be able to pick. It's only a matter of going through the questions and understanding which one are the easier ones. That's what you need to maintain. And like Kishan rightly said, he was lucky that he had a bad mock, which made him realize that, okay, it was a practice run for the actual paper. So, but you might not be that lucky. So do ensure that you keep your mind focused on the big picture, which is the CAT. So that is really, really important. So guys, CAT done, dusted, got your scores. Then comes the part which many people miss out during the preparation, which is the GDPI. So how did you guys prepare for GD and PI? And let me tell you, like, I have failed NITI. NITI was one of my dream colleges, and I always missed out due to my interview. So I would love to know how you guys went about NITI's interview.
Yeah, so I would like to speak.
Yeah,
So
Makram, hi.
basically, yeah, so NITI is actually advantageous for engineers. It's only engineers apply. So the thing is, its interview would be typically on the easier side from the rest of the IIM interviews. So what you have to focus is on your BTech subject. Okay, because in my interview, many, almost I think 15 to 16 questions were asked. And out of that, 10 questions almost were from my core subject, electrical. So
Okay.
you have to focus on that. Okay, it may not work for rest of the IIMs, but it will work for NITI. And however, like the other problems that you have, like your communication problems and anything, whatever there are many times that we know what we want to say, but we are not able to express it. So that you must work on. And for that, it's only a practice. You can only like practice in front of a mirror or anything like that. So you're actually what you want to say, it comes out of your mouth, because actually we were lucky that our process was online. So there was some physical distance. So it was not that intimidating. But next year it might change. And when you are sitting in front of a panel, then the things are totally different. You are nervous, you're sweating, etc., etc. So the only thing you can do is practice. And rest of the thing is you have to be like come up with current affairs. You should be ready with that, and all the journal interview points. But for especially NITI, you can use that one of your advantage that you are sure that some of the questions will be from your core subject. So you can pick up on that, brush up on that.
So yeah, Makaran told us, only engineers apply for NITI. So that's an advantage and a disadvantage. Advantage is that you'll find people only like you, and disadvantage is like many people don't have the grip on their BTech subjects, and NITI focuses on that. So that's really important that you start preparing on those aspects as well.
Well, sir, I would like to add something here. When you prepare for GD, because I know I've prepared a lot since CAT was my sham. So the only thing that I had in mind is to crack the interviews. So basically, you have to prepare for three things here. One is your academics related, whatever you have studied, you have to prepare it very thoroughly. Second is the general knowledge. And third is this HR related questions, or what you call know about yourself. So these are the three things that you need to prepare thoroughly. And that's what I did. First, I prepared all the HR related questions. Then I prepared all my BTech related all the questions. And third thing was what you can say. uh, uh,
Okay.
what should I say?
Thank you.
BTech at so that the third section is the next thing. So you have to prepare for all the three sections properly. And I would also like to give insight about my NEETI interview. Uh, Basically, in the online mode, nothing things may or may not go as per your direction, and the same thing happened before my interview happened. There were 10 interviews that happened, and during that time the bandwidth was good, everything was good for the interviewer. But during my time, they closed the video, and they were just speaking to me on the blank screen. So I had no idea what was the expression of the interviewer when I was speaking to them. So this is the thing that can happen when you are giving an online interview. But you have to keep your calm. Whatever they ask you, you have to see to it that you just imagine that there is some person sitting, you smile, and you answer to the question with some confidence. And that's what I think worked for me in NEETI.
Okay, so yeah, Tanmay brings out another aspect of interviews these times, where the interview is online and expect the unexpected. So the interviewers switched off their video, and now Tanmay was kind of puzzled, like whom to look at and not able to understand the tone. So yeah, these kind of challenges are new, and we are also adapting to it. So amazing. I mean, I cannot relate to it because my interviews were face to face, but yes, definitely it would have been intimidating. So good that you were able to work that out. Anyone, Kishan, do you want to add, or Minkesh,
Yes,
do you want to add to it?
yes. So every schools evaluates different qualities in their interviews. So basically, NEETI asks one of the unique questions like, "What was your final year project?" So they do focus on those parameters as well. How well did you carried out your project, and what did you actually what did you done in your project? And secondly, they also focuses on the academics. A good part of questions were around WorkX, HR, as well as general knowledge. So for that, I gave 2 to 3 interviews. For that, also I gave interviews to the NEETI seniors as well. They gave me good insights about the NEETI, and there are basically 3 or 4 questions NEETI interviewers do ask. One is why NEETI. Then first question was tell me about yourselves. Then third question, why NEETI and not IIMs? So there are very common questions which they will ask you definitely in NEETI interviews. So yeah.
We have discussed the why NITI, why not IIMs part. So if anybody has joined us late, you can go to the start of the video where we have discussed all of these questions. So Shashank, would you like to share any of your experience with us?
Sir, I would like to add more precisely to the work experience, guys. Like everyone, they mostly ask from the current affairs, so from the your technical or what you study in your colleges. But current affairs is too vast to cover all the topics. But what you can count on is your work experience part, and the current affairs related to your work experience. Like I'm talking about my IIM Bangalore experience. The mostly interviews on the current affairs that on rather than on my work experience, and I've able to convert it and got a straight result. But other IIMs and other all B schools are mostly on my work experience or the current affairs on it, and I converted mostly all of them and waitlisted in C&L. So I think if you have a grab on your work experience part and the current affair related to that, then it will be a little bit easier to crack the interview, and it gives you more confidence to have a good interaction with the in front of the panelist.
Okay. Yeah, so like Tanmay also said, you need to understand about yourself. So he divided that into 3 parts. So Shashank here focuses on the first part about your work ex, and then your current affairs, and then knowing about the HR type of questions, which is like
Correct.
your life experiences. So like Shashank said, current affairs are too vast, too huge to cover. So for that, to the viewers, I would like to say that it's helpful that if you don't put the current affairs part for the end or after CAT, it will be very beneficial if you start beforehand also. So just start with the habit of reading a newspaper. It helps you not with the current affairs, but with the RC and the LR sections as well. So that's really important. And like Shashank said, that if your one section, again, if your one section is on the weaker side like GK, then you can make it up with your work experience, because the interview is always in your hands. The direction you give it, it goes in that direction only. So you can steer it towards your strength, which would be your work in case of work experience folks. So thank you, Shashank. Thank you for that point. And with that, I think we come to an end of our discussions. And thank you for joining today. And congratulations once again for making it. If there's anything like you wanted to say, like how did PrepZone help you in your journey, and any word of advice to the incoming students?
Sure, I can try this one.
Sure.
I think based on my experience with many of the B schools, it's very essential that you don't expect your your exam or interview to be predictable. I think that's the one of the most critical mistakes that people make. Right. So that's one thing. Secondly, composure is really important. As Kishan rightly mentioned that you'll have to remain calm throughout the process, be it your exam, be it your interview, right? Because you never know what the panelists are thinking. So this is very important that you keep your expectations low and your preparations at the top. I think that this will help you sail through it.
All right.
So I would like to say, like when I gave interview, like PrepZone helped me greatly in giving interviews. Because the thing is, when groups were formed, I joined PrepZone in December. So after this, no, sorry, in January when CAT result was declared. So within those 2 to 3 months, like my first interview started at the February end. So and like ET interview was at March end. So within those 3 months, I was so up to date with current affairs and like how to answer, how to give interviews. I've given a few. I did not give like many interviews. I gave like 4 or 5 interviews, I think, mock interviews. So I had the idea like what to expect, what kind of question to be expect. And many interviews which I gave, I knew like this question was coming, so I could easily counter that. And that's why I think PrepZone helped me, because in that area I was weak. I gave CAT in 2019 also, and I had very high percentile like 99.69. I had call from C also, but because I just gave interview like that only, I prepared by myself. So what I used to do, like I used to read newspapers and articles, online articles. So I thought that this would be enough, because I actually had no idea. Like all my HR question was, I made up all my HR question on the spot when I was giving my Calcutta interview. So obviously I got rejected. But if I had known about that before years, so I may have converted it. So actually, it's, the preparation for interview is needed. It's not like you can just go and sit and give blurt out your answers. You actually need it.
Yeah. So I hope people understand this part very well, that once your CAT is done and dusted, that's not the end of the road. You need to prepare for GD, you need to prepare for PI, and it always helps to have a mentor or have a guide. And that's what PrepZone provides you with. So guys, thank you. Thank you for those words. And thank you for joining today. And with that, I'll end this session.